I now request Mr. Narayana Murthy to kindly address the audience with his enlightening words.
Respected Minister Mentor, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, Justice Dharmadhikari, Your Excellency, the High Commissioner of India in Singapore, Your Excellencies from the US and Australia, Mr. Atul Temurnikar, members of the Global Indian International School Fraternity, Mr. Dhanabalan, guests, parents, and most importantly, my young friends. I am extremely grateful to the Minister Mentor for being kind in finding time from his busy schedule to release this book. Thanks to all of you, the guests, for your kindness in taking time off from your busy schedule and coming here. I also thank Mr. Temurnikar for making all the arrangements. I have been for long, much before it became fashionable, to admire Singapore and Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Singapore is a rare example of a country that has transformed herself from a third world country to a first world country in my own lifetime, all in an environment of peace and harmony in a multicultural world. Thanks to, of course, a cadre of aspirational and value-based leadership, which has indeed led by example. Singapore serves as a great example for all countries, both developing and developed. I am so happy that my hero, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, is indeed releasing the book here in Singapore. India is on an exhilarating ride towards progress. Our GDP growth rate is one of the fastest in the world. Our exports are much more than what they were even 5 years ago. Our foreign exchange reserves are pretty comfortable. We have made rapid strides in science and technology, in sports and in industry. We have sent a space vehicle to the moon, and that is sending wonderful images even as I stand and speak here today. Our software industry has brought global recognition to India. The non-resident Indians, of whom there are many here, have raised the image of India by conducting themselves as good citizens of whatever society they have chosen to live in. Our telecommunications infrastructure is one of the largest in the world, perhaps the second largest in the world today, and is the fastest growing in the world. Many poor people have moved to the middle class. The quality of life for the middle class and the upper classes has indeed improved. However, as it happens in many large developing countries, this progress has not been shared by every Indian. We have much to do in solving the basic problems of poverty and in providing decent access to nutrition, healthcare, education, and shelter to a large number of Indians. We have not yet lived up to the dreams of our founding fathers. We have not, in effect, embraced inclusive growth, as our Prime Minister repeatedly points out. This book is a recipe for making such an inclusive, fair, and equitable growth happen. It is about creating an India and a world of which all of us can be proud. It is about redeeming the pledge that our founding fathers took when they fought for an independent India. The book is based on my framework for a fair, just, equitable, and inclusive growth for India and elsewhere, or for that matter, any developing country, and even for a developed country. I believe there are three pieces of the development puzzle. One, values practiced by people. Good work ethic, honesty, discipline, proaction, secularism, austerity, peace, harmony, openness to new ideas, humility, and high aspirations. Second, aspirational, transformational, value-based, and trustworthy leadership by leaders who serve as role models for their citizens and who lead by example. Third, liberation of the colonial mindset of the elite and the powerful in a post-colonial society to understand the reality around them and to eschew asymmetry of benefits in their favor vis-a-vis common people. I believe these three pillars of development are more important than the traditional ingredients of capital, labor, and natural resources. I believe that Singapore has demonstrated the success of my assumptions. This book is a compendium of speeches delivered to the youth and enlightened citizens in India and abroad. About 15 of them were delivered abroad, most of them in the United States, one in Singapore too, and the rest in India. The purpose of my speeches in India is to call upon our youth to dedicate themselves to the task of creating a better India, a fairer India, a more equitable India, and a more inclusive India. I show how values, leadership, good work ethic, discipline, secularism, and good governance, both in the government and in the private sector, are all important attributes for creating such an India. I also argue with data how such an India cannot be created without focus on primary education, healthcare, nutrition, family planning, secondary reforms, infrastructure, urban planning, and corporate social responsibility. The speeches to the international audience covers issues like globalization, emerging markets, bottom of the pyramid customers, global warming, corporate governance, compassionate capitalism, and the need to create a fair and just global order, overcoming the barriers of race, religion, bigotry, and hatred. In essence, this book paints a blueprint for a better India and a better world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for those very motivating words.
Minister Mentor, sir, we admire you. Try to imbibe and live by the values you represent. Thank you for being here at the Global Indian International School.